Hey, I'm Isbahawk, and I'm somebody who's been podcasting since 2016. I'm not someone who's like huge and gets millions of downloads or something, but I am somebody who loves podcasting and pays very close attention to what's working, what's not. I love breaking down and paying attention to people who are doing it well and the behind the scenes talk. So just like writers probably enjoy hearing writing advice or talking about process, even though they might not implement the advice, it's just like, oh, what works for you? How do you like to do things? And maybe I might be able to implement something into my process. And so my favorite thing is when podcasters do this. And there's a lot of famous authors and people that talk about it on their shows, like, oh, how are you using podcasting to help you sell books, and how's it working out? I found the reason those things never actually get clipped out is because most people wouldn't actually be maybe interested in that unless you are starting a podcast yourself. So I wanted to take the initiative to find all of these different quotes and pieces because they are in my phone. They're notes I've taken, timestamps I've written down of different podcasts that are very varied.
I feel like I started my podcast, congratulations, like 6 weeks ago now. And even like from then, I feel like, oh, I get it now. Like now this is who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I've used bits from that on stage. And now when I'm on stage, I feel like, oh, it's kind of like I'm just in my room talking like I am in my podcast. So like, I feel like I kind of turned the corner when I started my podcast. But like, I feel like those moments come.
Your podcast is super interesting because it really is just a real extension of you as your sense of humor.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean that's how it felt like how was I gonna, like, I just didn't, like, I do it solo, and I was like, I'll do it solo for 3 times and then I'll probably have to get guests. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, keep talking for an hour. I mean, I know we do it on stage every night, but it's kind of planned.
But it's really just a testament to how good your podcast is. It's really hard to do a solo podcast just coming up with a couple subjects and ranting for an hour.
Yeah.
Bill Burr, when he did when I started my podcast, I was like, maybe I'll do it solo. He goes, do it solo. You don't need guests.
Yeah.
I was like, and
Burr
I did
said this?
Yeah. And I did a couple solo. I go, Bill, they're not good. And he goes, they're not going to be. He was like, let them be bad for like a year and then they'll get better and then they'll get really good. And then you won't even think about it. And then your writing on stage will be so strong. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to have guests. Dude, any real listener of the podcast knows, I did some solo ones.
Oh, really?
I did some solo ones, and they were, I did a solo one, Chris, where this is literally OG Bertcast fans know this. I sang a pirate song where I would just get whacked on coffee on a Sunday morning, and I just come in and do a podcast by myself, and I sang the pirate song of if I was a pirate, instead of yo ho ho, what I would sing. And it was so almost like creepy, like almost like if you watch a video of a serial killer going, like when he shaves his head and he's like, all right. And people to this day are like, dude, I remember the pirate song, because it was just me being weird as fuck in someone's ear. And that's it. There was no notes, no one, and it was so fucked up. But it was fun. And what I liked about it is it got me weird. It got me out of my comfort zone.
The strategy of using solo podcasting as a way to get better at a craft, at a skill, and not just for more downloads and for a marketing purpose is really, really significant. I'm very inspired by the fact that he continues to stick to that format, because podcasting is audio, and a lot of times you need to use video to make your show successful, and he does that with a bunch of his other ones. But with his Monday morning podcast, it's still audio. Most of the time it's solo, and it's not super funny all the way through. I think that should actually be inspiring. That doesn't have to be like a home run every single time. In your world, it might be it being interesting or educational. If you look at Dr. Andrew Huberman, great scientist, genius researcher, right? And he's somebody who's doing solo, like kind of almost like he's delivering a lecture through this podcast format. He's answering questions that are kind of coming in. So anyways, that's just something I wanted to share with you. If you've been skeptical about solo podcasting and you're like, oh, it's weird, I don't know if I can do it, but If you want, look at Bill Burr's podcast, listen to it. He started on his phone. It used to be him picking up the phone and recording it through there. And, it can be bad, but if it connects, if it's real, if there's something authentic to it, it just goes to show you that podcasting is worth it to get better at a certain set of skills, like listening, speaking, talking, timing, improvisation, whatever it might be. And then all of the other success, the reach, the connections, the authority, the trust, the sales, anything that comes from it is all kind of a byproduct. I wanted to share this with you because it's been something that's been twirling around my mind for years. I've thought about it forever. It's been something that I've been impacted by. It's weird to get over the fact that you're alone in a room talking into a microphone, so you automatically feel like you'll be robotic. You won't be kind of your truest self. But Bill Burr's a comedian, and he obviously figured that out, how to kind of talk and make it entertaining and keep talking and coming up with stuff even though he doesn't know what he's talking about. If you do an hour or 30 minutes or whatever every single week, twice a week, you will get better at those skills of speaking, listening, figuring out your verbal tics, all that good stuff. So podcasting is totally worth it for you if you set the parameters right and you know what you want to get, what skills you want to kind of improve with podcasting and what goals you want it to help you achieve. Then it's a win-win. Even if 50 people or 100 people are downloading your stuff, solo podcasts build a very strong connection. Theo Vaughn is another one that I'll break down another day, but there's a lot of people who their solo pods, not everybody might listen to. There's a lot of people who will be like, I love the guest ones, I hate solo ones. But the people who are drawn to the ones that are solo have a special one-to-one connection that I don't think can be replaced. Maybe the only thing that's a little stronger is YouTube, because you get this one-on-one feel. But even then, I think podcasting is a little more real and intimate, not as many cuts and all that stuff. So anyways, I hope you found this useful. If you enjoyed it, check out some of these videos. I think you'll like them too. And drop a comment with your thoughts. Thanks so much for hanging out. See you next time.